I hate this girl power. I was like, I'm sick of you guys already. I want to be on that date. They're like, it's day one. I'm like, yeah, and I'm already sick of you guys.
Victoria's a very strong personality.
Tonight on Bachelor Party, it's week 2 with Matt James, and unfortunately, we have to talk about Victoria, but we're also going to talk about Bree, we'll talk about Sarah. There's so much to dig into, and we're doing it with Jared Freid. No bagel talk here, but it's going to be a good listen, so check it out, and let's batch. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see them coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code Visible24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. Episode 2. There's a lot to break down here. And to do it, I am joined by Mr. Bagel himself, Jared Freid. Jared, welcome back. After Bagelgate, just had so much more to discuss with you.
It is a pleasure to be here. I can only hope my name is Mr. Bagel. From now on, I want to be I am known to some as the board lord because of my opinions on charcuterie.
Oh,
so
interesting.
So I have a lot of strong opinions on charcuterie, and I'll take Mr. Bagel as well. I'm willing to take on that title. I have a lot of bagel, opinions.
I have a take on charcuterie, and then we'll get into the episode.
Go for it.
Not good for sharing. Never enough of the individual items.
Well, that's a lot of what I judge them on. And listen, not to plug myself, but I do. These are all on my Instagram where I've become the board lord. And my issue is a charcuterie is meant for like a group to come, and it's the first thing that's out. So what bothers me about this huge trend that's going on is a lot of people are creating them for Instagram as opposed to the hungriest person who skipped lunch to come to your party. When you have a party at night, you go, no lunch. They're going to be serving food.
Past apps, here I come. I'll be by the door for when they come out of the kitchen.
Exactly, doing that act like, oh, what are these? I know what a pig in a blanket is. So it's like I get personally offended by a charcuterie when I see like a gourd on it or like a pumpkin, and I'm like,
oh my god, no way!
Like we're wasting space. It's a finite space. But listen, we're here to talk about other things. I could go on and on.
Actually, you brought something up that is a wonderful transition. I had the realization as I was watching this episode that we are seeing in real time the effects of COVID trendy leisure wear making it into front and center mainstream on this season of The Bachelor. I couldn't help but notice there were so many matching sets of a cropped sweatshirt and then matching sweatpants. And I was like, I'm just looking at my Instagram feed from the months of April, May, and June right here. And it was so overwhelming.
You're totally right. There was a lot of like cropped tie-dyed sweatshirts that were companies that some woman started for a month this summer.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, so they all bought this at the beginning of the pandemic. They put it away for summer, and now it's back in Nemacolin. Of course, Victoria was the number one perpetrator of this. We will talk about her and how much she blows. But
yeah,
I want to start with Bree, who got the first one-on-one this week.
Bree's great. I was
Bree
a fan.
Is great. Me too. So there's a lot. There's just like a lot I want to parse. And like, let's be real. We're going to break it down. Let's just start by commending Bree, because Bree told, I think, personal information about herself. She said she's never told anyone before. I don't know what the piece is. She's never told anyone before, but she did reveal, and we're jumping ahead. We'll go back, I promise. But she told Matt that her mother had her when she was 13 and her mother raised her. And that recently during the pandemic, she found out that her mother is pregnant, going to get married. And as Bree said, like starting a new family that she's not a part of. And I just, I don't have that experience myself, but like, I just feel for her so deeply. I think that like everyone can probably relate to some kind of feeling of like disconnection or like worrying about your place in your family or whatever it is. And I just thought that was like really moving, and I really admired her for sharing it. And I just wanted to start with that off the bat because I thought it was like really important and a pretty like interesting thing to share and just really moving. And Bree, I commend you, and my heart goes out to you.
I totally agree. It's so weird how some people just are immediately likable and some people are immediately hateable. And I don't know, like I don't know.
No way around that.
There's no way around it. I mean, obviously, Victoria, like it's the easy one because she's trying to make herself hateable. It seems as though, but Bree, like I was like, I'm on board. This is great. You hear that story? The way she told it, what you just said is so like relatable. You're like, yeah, I would feel that way too. Her mom had her. You said this, that she had her at 13.
13,
which is like, and then it was interesting to watch this, and it kind of goes back to like, the conversation leading to like, what are we dealing with Matt James? Like we've never met this guy before, but Matt James kind of hears this story and he's like, so any relationship with Pops? And then she kind of like gives that moment. And then he's like, well, here's my thing. It's like, it did feel like he kind of grazed over.
Well, I just thought that like he was looking for a point of connection. I have to say, I think Matt is a very generous, big-hearted person. That's my impression of him so far. He did, maybe we didn't see it, honestly. I also think that like, obviously for Bree and her mom being so young when she had her must have just, I mean, I can't relate to that as a childless 34-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, I just have no idea what that is like. I mean, I did think about it. Like Bree's mom is basically our age, and that's like very wild to contemplate. I think that like I was kind of glad that Matt didn't parse it because there's no way he can understand what that's like, So I thought it was actually cool that he looked for their point of connection and they were able to bond over their relationships with their fathers and like how that's, how they both like sought other families where there was like a big family vibe to like be a part of. And I thought it was like really cool that he like met her on that level. I have to say, like, really commend it. And like I think about like Peter or Colton, I'm like, there's no way those guys are like emotionally capable of like having this conversation. I thought that was just really cool, to be honest.
The big family part, like always hanging at friends' house, the way he related to that was very interesting. I thought it was interesting. Not that I'm not trying to like hate on Matt. It was more that like, I don't know this guy. So like he hadn't gotten that moment that he would have normally gotten on The Bachelorette.
Yeah, where you're like, about him and his family.
Sure. And so it kind of felt like they were like, okay, get Bree's story. And then like someone was like, tell us about, make sure you get your story in here too.
About her dad. Yeah. I have a feeling Matt's story will come out over the course of the season. It's just my assumption. But like, I was really glad that Matt wasn't like, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Like, that's what Peter always did when he was just like, thank you so much for telling me. You're so beautiful. Like, let's move on. I thought it was cool that he was like, asked a question that was relevant and they bonded over. And to your point that you don't know Matt, I don't know Matt either, but I really feel like I do. I've just been following him so closely for coming up on 2 years. And if you followed Matt during the pandemic, you know that he did exactly what he's talking about, which is like he moved in with Tyler, who I think, the beginning of the pandemic, Tyler's mama just passed away. And I think it's nice that his friends were there for him while he was grieving. And like they kind of like created their own family, like their own like friend group. And, they were definitely not following COVID protocol. But he did do that. So I was like, that really rings true to me. That's the Matt that we see on Instagram.
It is a good explanation for why Matt did the most boys trips I've ever seen in one summer. By one person on social media.
Didn't it seem like it?
Oh my God, nobody was having a better time. It just felt like there was like a movie soundtrack playing behind all of his Instagram videos. Like it was just like Top Gun over and over, Boys of Summer just playing on loop.
Oh man, I thought that was like just a really actually better conversation than we usually get when someone shares something like really deeply personal. We'll obviously get to Anna later, but I thought that was just better than usual.
it came after Brie was the biggest trooper in the history of troopers.
Thank you. Let's get into the actual date itself.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I've got a lot of comments. I just want to say, Matt getting her filthy because he's driving in front of her on the ATV and she's behind and she's like covered in mud while he's like pristine was so funny. I was like, she is filthy and he is completely clean. It was so funny at first, of course.
Well, it was like I did watch it, and so they go on this ATV date, and like they're on their separate ATVs, and like Matt is doing like side to sides. He's doing like, you know, and he's like ahead of her, and I was like, and it did like I was like, is Matt just gonna do Matt on these dates? Like, is he just gonna like?
I think the answer is yes to that. I think that's like that's what I was thinking. I was like, this is so Matt, and in no way enjoyable for her.
Yeah, I was like, she's like falling behind and she's like trying to, yeah, I'll be right there. And he's like, just like spitting up mud from the back tires into her. Like she's like following along. And like, you watch this and I was like, I do think Matt is like, it feels genuinely like he is here to like do the trip. Like as much as he is to meet the women, they're like, he saw ATVs, was like, yo, ATVs. Like it wasn't like, okay, so we're doing like, I feel like a guy like Nick Viall would see that and go, so how are the cameras going to be set up? Like, I don't think that's happening with Matt.
Nick is happy so that you said that somewhere. But
sure.
like Johnny Bennett, it's very Johnny Bananas as well, who like fashioned himself a producer of the challenge. Did you watch the challenge?
Gone in and out, but not as much as...
I was just thinking Matt would thrive on the challenge. She would love the actual events that they had to do. But like Matt was just like, they said like fired up to like be on an ATV and also seemed like excited to have an activity. Matt loves activities so much. I could never date Matt because I'm like, my activity is like going for a walk and then I'm done for the day. Like I'm good. I'll make dinner. I'll read. I'll watch TV. Matt's like, I'm going for a run, then I'm getting on my Peloton, then I'm getting dressed, and I'm going on an ATV, and then I'm chopping wood, and then I'm getting in a hot tub. Like he does more in a day than I would even consider doing in a week. It's like I'm tired.
He did more in that open than I did during all of COVID. Like it was like to watch him go on the and then he's showering right after the workout. Like there was no like if that was me in that opening, it would have been like 2 hours of me sitting in a towel. Like I'll get to the shower. Okay, just push off the date. Like
I have many times like gone to like a brunch, obviously, or like even a bar immediately after working out and not showering in between. Like showers is just like it'll happen eventually, but like whatever, just go grab a beer. I like very distinctly recall doing that many times when I living in LA. But like it's acceptable there. It's fine.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Matt is just like does so many activities, and I'm glad you bring up the shower. I'm so glad gratuitous shower scenes are back. Like I missed it.
It's back. It's more gratuitous than ever.
Just like we get it. Matt's fucking hot.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, I know Matt's hot. Like there's no denying that. Like, I mean, he's wearing jeans without underwear. Like, good for him. Like the amount
always strikes me as uncomfortable, but okay.
I mean, the amount of chafing I would do in jeans without underwear is like never to be seen in the history of this world. Like I literally saw him in jeans without underwear that when he's chopping the woods and or were they getting into the makeshift hot tub that Ben Higgins would love to be in. Like they I was watching that being like, I no underwear in the jeans. I can't you have to be a perfection of man, but like, is he the best looking bachelor of all time? Because the way he is being held up, like, I don't know if this is the group of women that are on the show, but like people need to, like, they are there to get him. It feels like it is.
I think the answer to that is yes, Jared. I was actually recently did the BuzzFeed quiz of like, can you name all the bachelors, which is harder than you would think.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of them.
I've recently looked at every bachelor, and the answer is yes. Matt is the hottest bachelor ever, and I don't even think it's close.
Is he like the most eligible bachelor of all time? Like because it does feel like
that depends who you ask. I like someone with a career, and that's like sounds really obnoxious, but like
no, it's fair.
I just think that like I would be more into like doctor, Dr. Travis Lane Stork, I believe. And
your Jewish mother is showing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Juliet.
And Andrew, even Andrew Firestone, even Ben Flanick, who worked in the wine biz. I just like someone with like a career path. I'm sorry. It's like the most conventional thing about me, but I can't help it. I am who I am.
Have you felt that there's a little bit of like, they are all, like more than any season, it doesn't, I feel like everyone here is for the right
fired
reason.
Up about Matt. They're here for
they are fired up.
I have a few theories on why that might be. Number one.
Okay.
I just think that people are like so happy to have social interaction, let alone a date, let alone like thinking about having sex with this hot guy in this COVID era, that it's like there's just like an extra like 20% of like any social interaction is like 20% better than it might have been. I think I've said this before, but it's just like it's the COVID bump.
Sure. So to that point, do you think this will reflect the post-COVID world that some sociologists, some sociologists 100%. Are saying,
roaring 20s, let's go.
Roaring
I'm so
20s. Ready. It's coming, and this is a sign for the future. This should give single people hope everywhere. It's about to get crazy.
God. Absolutely. It's going to be a great time. I'm really excited. I'm like so desperate for a black tie event. I like only want to go to black tie weddings going forward. I'm like, I'll like wait outside of a fancy party just to like get like the whiff of it. I'm just like, I just want to dress up so badly. So there's that. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, Matt, he lacks a little bit of on-camera charisma, but he is connecting with these women. He remembers all of them. I'm blown away by it. But like he remembers nuggets and facts, and like he has like a personal conversation with so many of these women, even the ones he's clearly not into. Like he has so many tells, it's ridiculous. But like I'm just really impressed at how he's like actually connecting with them on like a personal level. I commend it.
The orchid scene towards the end of the episode
oh my God.
is one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen in my entire, like, Bachelor or no Bachelor. I was like, I don't like thinking of the producers. Like I'm okay living in a WWE world where like the wrestling's real, the storylines are real. Like I'm okay with that. I don't like watching the show going, that's a producer's pick. Like I just,
me neither. I don't believe in that either.
It's not the way I watch. And also they have no reason to lie to us. They have no reason to do that. So, but when I heard him with the orchid, I was like, I need to know if he remembered this. I need to know if he knew that this woman would feel badly that she didn't get a date. Like, because that was like, oh my God.
I know. So I think if it was so easy to like manufacture these personal moments, they would do it all the time. I think that it's like a little bit of the producers, but also a lot of Matt. And he seems to remember stuff. Like when I talked to him last week, he like had good recall. He said he's really bad with names, but like it seems like he made a point to like try to connect each woman with like an idea in his head so that he could remember them. So I think it's like obviously he's getting help from the producers, but I do think it's a testament to him. And this is another theory of mine on Matt, which is this is like a real hot guy thing. There's a certain kind of hot guy who's like been popular his whole life that just like learns how to make women feel important and special even when they are not. And it's like intense eye contact, like touching them, just like it's just like it's very political. Like I feel like John Edwards probably was really good at this too, Bill Clinton, where it's like you make people feel like you remember them specifically when it's just actually like a skill that you have. And I feel like Matt is really good at that. And it sounds like I'm negging him, but I'm not. I just like it's a move. It's a hot guy move.
I think it's genderless, to tell you the truth. Not to I think I think there's a version of women that are really good at this, that like touch your arm, laugh at your joke, know when to laugh, like know how to make the guy feel like the only guy in the room. I've seen that version of a woman. I think that like
it's a type of charisma that maybe isn't coming across that well on camera, but like in the room, I feel like Matt is just like he locks in, and I also think that like there's like a genuineness to it where he does want people to feel good about themselves. I don't know. I'm both like really dubious of Matt because he's so attractive, but also like impressed with some of what I'm seeing so far.
I think he's high energy dude. And like this all, I agree with what you're saying. Like you can tell the orchid thing, like that's like top
crazy
man. That's like top man gentleman moments of the decade. I also think it's like kind of a referendum on dating in 2020. Like I think these women are meeting
so low.
The bar is so low. Like I actually kept coming back to that thought, like where I'm like, wow, these women, like they're dealing with dating app people and they are a certain type of woman. They're the type of woman that would have 6,000 Instagram followers for no reason at all,
because
for existing.
Because they're modeling matching sets during COVID. That's why.
Exactly. Just like guys creeping in the DMs. Like, I think they're dealing with a lot of garbage. And the idea that like this guy is available and ready to go and meet them on a level that isn't just DMing them a fire emoji. Like, I think that's like I think that's an unbelievable. Like, I did kept
the proliferation of emojis among just like normal people in like potentially flirtatious text exchanges is so distressing to me. It's just not a way to communicate. It's just not. I'm sorry.
I mean, any response to an Instagram story that isn't, hey, where you been, is like, like if it's not like someone you know, that is flirtatious. Any immediate, those reactions that you can give, like any of those reactions, those are all flirtatious. And I just think I think that these women are so not used to knowing exactly where a guy stands. Like, he's there to date. He's there to get to know them. He's there to maybe get married. Like,
it's funny you say that. In the Glacier season towards the end with Tayshia's dudes, I was saying the single most unrealistic thing about the show is this like explicit declaration of how you feel exactly like in the moment. It's just like no one does that. Also, like maybe they shouldn't. Like, it's not like particularly hot, but like whatever. Can I just I want to get back to the dates, but I want to throw in one other theory that I've had. I feel like I'm just dropping my theories.
I love the theories.
On the topic of Instagram stories, one of my deepest held beliefs is that people Instagram story like 40% more when they're trying to get the attention of someone that they like just went on a date with or just hooked up with.
Oh, absolutely. This is Instagram stories are being made for one person when you're single.
Totally, an audience of one.
That you are, because that's the problem with the algorithm, is that it's built to tell you that the person that you've been kind of the profile that you've touched the most will come up the most if it's looking. So it's like when you are into someone or you're dating someone, you've checked them out in a way that you haven't checked out like your friend from college or maybe even your best friend.
I think I can always tell when someone's like courting because I'm like, oh, you're Instagramming a lot. Just like, it's very obvious.
And it's like one of those things. I mean, you came on my podcast, and these are the things we delve into a lot. Is like the things that you feel a little ridiculous calling out, but they are true. You feel them, and it's like absolutely. you do feel when someone's looking at your stories first, or when they're not looking at your stories after they used to look at it first. Something did happen, and it's like you have to like show vulnerability to even admit to that. Like, yeah. And it's tough.
True.
It's true. It's very difficult.
And these women, though, like they're so happy to not be doing that.
Exactly. And I think like in 2021, a lot of these women, you're in your early 20s, you're in your mid 20s, you're dealing with men who only deal in that. Like a 25-year-old man, like when I was 25, that's the only, like, that's how, like, you're dealing with, like, they're with an adult and you can feel that they are excited to be dealing in adult terms.
Yeah, I agree. Also, for Matt, who's like, I've never been in love before, I feel like he's trying to do things a little bit differently. I don't know. Am I giving Matt too much credit? Perhaps, but whatever. That's just who I am. Can we go back to their date, though, with Brie? Because there's more that we need to parse. So, okay. So Matt drives like a maniac. And I'm just like, dude, no one can keep up with you. And like, why are you so into mud? And then... Then after he has gotten her so dirty, she gets onto the ATV with him and he continues to drive like a madman and they crash.
I watched that scene and I literally did the most Jewish thing I've ever done. I went, oh no, oh, like I screamed. I legitimately, it sounded like my mom. I was like, oh my God, like that's how people like legitimately get hurt.
Like, yes. Like I was like, the liability here, I mean, I guess they all signed waivers, but like it must have been the producers must have been freaking out because that was like completely insane. And then this is my main critique of Matt for the week is that I really did not care. Well, I was glad that he immediately asked, are you okay? Like, good job. It's again, the lowest bar possible. I did not care for the fact that his first thought was like, oh my God, Brie's mom is going to see this. And it's just like, come on, dude. It's just like, be less conventional.
Yeah, that kind of is why I was like, Matt's gonna do Matt. Matt is here for Matt and hopefully a woman. And like when I hear that, it's like, you know, what's the PR campaign is really what he's saying. Like, how will I explain this to her mom? It's like, dude, she is covered in mud. She got dressed for the biggest date of her life. She literally brushed herself off, got right up. Like, let's give her some credit for being so good about this.
Such a good sport. I mean, she also clearly was not having a good time. Like, I don't think she wanted to be covered in mud. I don't think she wanted to be on an ATV. I don't think she wanted to be wearing like a helmet that probably like weighed as much as her. Like, it was just like bizarre. It was my worst nightmare of a date. I would just have been like, I'm sorry, I'll walk. I'll meet you there. See you at the hot tub.
Yeah, like take off the shirt, start chopping wood. But she did say this is my worst outfit before going on. Like, I just liked her, and then
me too. Bree's awesome. All in on Bree.
She had to like. She did again. I don't think Bree is doing this on their month-iversary at the Nemacolin. Like, I think on her month-iversary, she's going to go, like, my girlfriend would look at me and be like, you always have to do this. You always have to go fast. You know, I don't look like I was like, all I could think about that whole time was just like how my girlfriend would be so mad at me.
Of course.
But you're on a first date and you're trying to make good impressions.
Yeah, you just got to go with it. It's like, yeah.
And she's doing interviews where she's like, so we're having a good time, and she's just covered in mud. Like, it just was hard to take her seriously.
Yeah. And then for the second half of her date, or not the second half, but for the hot tub scene, they made it seem like she was naked. She clearly wasn't. But like, can we see just like a smidgen of Bree's bikini? Like, we know it's there. Like, why did they do that? It was super bizarre. I guess I was just like editing for time, but I was like, why are they trying to make it seem like they're naked in the hot tub? We know that they're not.
I guess you can't do the gratuitous scene. Like, we were legit like centimeters away from seeing down Matt's pants. Like, the way they were showing him with no underwear and jeans. Like, and it's like, they do sometimes do that scene where it's like, I mean, Tayshia got a lot of those shots where her coming out of the pool 7,000 times. I guess, I don't know. Like, I didn't see that, but I understand what you're talking about. Like, I don't know how you show her, like, let's get the bikini shot to see what we're working with. I don't know how they do that.
It was sort of weird. And I will say, like, you bring up a good double standard. Like, I was like, Tayshia looks amazing, but like, this is a weird way to meet her. Like, just like totally objectifying her. Matt has also been completely objectified. It just feels different with guys, though. You know,
it's different. It's totally different. I'm not saying that to like make like it's totally different. That's kind of why I would assume they didn't get the shot of Bree like taking it off and getting ready. Like, it's like, we haven't even met this woman yet. And like, all we would have is like her like shimmying out of like jeans. Like, I understand, like, they're like, well, we didn't get the shot of her in the bathing suit. It's like, well, we're not going to do the full Tayshia here. Like, we don't even know her yet, you know?
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code Visible24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. We need to move on from Bree. We need to talk about Victoria.
Sure.
But first, I just want to add, Bree, not that stalkable. I tried. I think she works at Instagram. Her bio said she has like a really good social media career. And then so the guy who's like head of partnerships like did like an emoji on her Instagram and she responded. So
okay.
I think, or something like that. I think she works at Instagram, but Bree, not that stalkable, which I commend. Very hard for a 24-year-old to not have a big digital presence. It's just part of life these days. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I also think that generation, like the Gen Zers, are like just better at being like having social media a part of their wheel. I just think
very
like
corporate of you, part of their wheel.
Yeah, I just noticed that with like they kind of like have been birthed into this social media world. Like it's always been a part of it. Like back in the day, people were just so obvious, like with whether they were here for social media or not. I don't know. I think that's like a good Gen Z quality.
That's true. They've got it figured out. All right. We'll circle back to Anna. Let's talk about Victoria and the stupid wedding date. I just want to say, it feels like Franco is now like a constellation in the Bachelor universe, and I'm not here for it. No shots, but like, I hate the like dress up like it's your wedding day date. I just absolutely hate it under all conditions. It was
when
stupid.
Did this start? I was wondering when this started. And also, it's stupid when it's this early. Like, there's no, like, and I know that they were getting to a point
causes
of like
drama on The Bachelor. Like Nick's season, Corinne took her top off on this date, I recall.
I remember. You're right. Yeah.
I just hate it.
I think what they realize from the La Quinta season is like they need to bring new into the place. They need to bring like things in because the scenery can only last so long. It gets old.
Peak at Nemacolin is so much more beautiful than the dead of summer at La Quinta. I mean, it's just like the foliage is unreal. As a lover of foliage, I'm absolutely loving all these drone shots. It's gorgeous.
The notes were taken. They heard the crowd loud and clear. They're like, okay, we have to have something that doesn't look like one sepia tone at all times.
No more shitty pools and Spanish tile. Just beautiful foliage, soaring trees, and like fights in the woods. I did like the woodsy setting for the fight, which I did not understand at all. I mean, just very strange.
Are we going to talk about whatever this game was, or do we want to go to Victoria? Because
let's go to the game and then Victoria. Kind of it leads.
Yeah, I didn't understand they called it like capture the flag.
But yeah.
But it didn't make sense. They were throwing things at each other. I've never thrown anything at anyone during capture the flag. They're tackling each other. Like, aren't you using flags on you to like get people out? Like,
yeah, do they know what flag football is? It's very strange.
None of it made sense. It wasn't even explained to us. We're just like, we're going to watch these women, beat each other up in the woods. It was like, let's do a scene from Hunger Games or something. I didn't know what it was.
I wonder if they like changed on the fly. I mean, it seems like they wanted to get the white dresses dirty, but I don't know why that was an objective. I don't really know. I just want to say, like, 2 episodes in, and specifically as a result of this challenge, I fucking love Katie. I'm all in on Vibrator Katie. She is super fun. She's a really weird mix of like taking this really seriously and also not taking it seriously. She also has the highest, differential in night 1 appearance and like episode 2 appearance. Like, she looked so pretty in her interviews and like great makeup, and I was like, did they screw you with the lighting? Like, what did they do to you on night 1? Katie like is dope, and I'm really a huge fan. I'm shocked to be saying this. I don't usually like a gimmick, but like, I'm all in on Katie, and I thought that she took the loss in such a funny fashion that I was just like, Katie, you're cool. I'm in.
I totally agree with you. We didn't talk after episode 1, but did. I'm with you on the gimmick. It's a tight wire act. You have to like be like her dinging the glass with the vibrator. I was like, she gets it. Like, I knew she got it right away because I was like, okay, you're having fun with this. They told you have to carry it around the night. You might as well lean into it. You're tapping people like it's like one of those keys that like it was funny. And it's like, again, that's hard to do because some people, they do it so much that you're like, okay, enough. Like, she didn't go gross with it. She didn't go sexual with it. She went totally normal. This is my wand to play with, which I loved. And she's been great, a treasure, and I hope we see more of her. I think we do. We saw that she's going to come up a lot more, but I definitely liked her, and I like Kayla, and she was great. Like, people, like, I like that they were ripping the dresses to make them easier to run in. Like, I like that this became like you were like seeing people having fun with it, and it's like, even though I didn't get how to win this game, but I was like, it seemed like it was...
The rules were super confusing. And then the worst part of this date was that Victoria was on it. I'm usually exhausted by the villains in general, but like, Victoria is like cannot stand her. And what happened between her and Marilyn? Like, I don't even know. Did something happen in their room? Like, Victoria did, in fact, sleep on the couch. That was not just all talk.
So I was wondering, I'm towards the end of the episode and I'm going, was there more that I missed? Because I remember her taking her blankie and going to the couch.
It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, it seemed to be about someone saying that she was being negative and they wanted positivity. That right? Is that what it was?
I think that maybe like, I guess it stemmed back to the beginning when Victoria was like, I am not happy for Brie. I want that. And Marilyn being like, trying to like tell her to be happy. But that was really a lot more Jasenia than Marilyn. I also like Jasenia. She seems sweet. But like, I just like, what happened between them? And I think like they asked the question that on the episode, like, is what Victoria doing an act or is this who she is?
Yeah.
I think it's who she is.
I know.
So I'm sure it's turned out. I'm sure it's turned out for the camera, but like, I think this is her.
She's been so bad. And it's tough. Like it's tough to talk on because it's like, it is actually angering. I can't believe that anyone is sitting there defending her. I don't know how you can defend her at this point. Like it also like Matt, I don't know how he would have like dealt with this any differently, but like it seems to be from my point of view, and I want to see what you think about this. It seems to be she was accused of not being positive, and that's what blew her up as and then she's used this as saying these women are talking shit about me. They're saying that they're being manipulative about me, which Highline the problem I see is she's like I hate to make this political. She's like, she deals with things like President Trump. Like she creates a reality,
yeah,
and then she goes with it, and everyone's like, well, there's like 1 ounce of truth to it. The truth is all those women there seem like they like each other except for her. So they've all definitely talked shit about her. And she's like, you're all talking about me. I know it. And it's like, where that's true. And they can't just go, well, that's a lie, because it isn't a lie. But they're talking about her for just reasons, it seems like.
Yeah, like they're talking about her because she sucks and because she's like not fun, and she deserves that. It also seems like she drinks a lot. I have no proof, but like it just seems like she devolves over the course of an evening in a way that suggests to me that she's having a lot of like wine or whatever it is. But like, how about when she wouldn't let Marilyn sit next to her on the couch? Like
the seating.
I was like, are you worried she has COVID? We know she doesn't. Like, what the fuck was that?
We all quarantined. We've all been tested. Yeah. The seating thing was, I started laughing. I was like, this is how small, because again, and I hate to be political. I'm not I'm just like, but I guess that is drenched in everything we talk about. It was very Trumpian. You sit here. No, I won't sit there. No, every little thing is exhausting with her. Like, if there's not one subject that she can be just agreeable on, it always has to be an argument or a fight. Oh no, I want to sit here. I want to look at you. I want to be able, and she goes and she says, someone's being, and she's dealing in truths that aren't truths. Like,
right.
And it's like, and then she makes it up to you to like, and you could tell Marilyn the whole time, you could tell she's like, I didn't sign up for this at all.
Like, not what I asked for. Just not what I asked for.
It feels like she's just like, it feels like this is going to happen a lot with Victoria, where it's like someone will get pulled into her storm and she just spits them out. And it's someone that's like not a willing, it feels like no one's a willing foe for her. Like no one's there to argue with her.
Yeah. And I mean, this might be wishful thinking, but I like 20% think she might not get a rose. I just feel like Matt's just like not into this with her and Marilyn, and she's not in a lot of the tease stuff beyond what we saw tonight. I actually think there's a chance she could go home. I'm probably being too hopeful, but like they didn't even end the episode on her. Obviously, how do you not end on Sarah when she's having a crisis? But we did see Sarah in a future episode. I mean, I guess she'd already gotten a rose, so that's why. I don't know. But like, I'm a little hopeful that Victoria doesn't last that long. I feel like they've burned a lot of Victoria material.
Well, you can also tell she's the most self-conscious person I've ever seen on TV. Like, and she says to him, that conversation was so funny to me. She pulls him aside and she's like, I mean, the first thing she says is the thing on her mind the most. She's like, she doesn't think she's as pretty as the other women there. You can tell. She even says, she goes, she announces her insecurity the first second that they sit down and try and get deep. And she's like, I just feel like sometimes like maybe like I don't look right. I'm a little fat compared to the other women. And he goes, no, you look great the last 2 nights. And then the next scene, she's like, I've never opened up like that before. And you're like, you haven't told someone that
sucks. She just sucks. Like, you know, with these 2 seasons, casting obviously tried really hard to find like interesting, diverse women, and like Victoria is just like, you know, Bachelor 2013 of just like a total suck box. Like she just sucks. I just cannot stand her. I don't find it fun. Like it's way more fun to be like, I don't know about Marilyn, or even that's like a little bit more fun. I mean, that's a bad example, but like, okay, I kept saying Anna when I meant Sarah, but actual Anna, she also clearly sucks, but she's kind of fun. She makes sort of like her talking face is like super intense, and you're just like, okay, Anna, calm down. But like, good narrator. Victoria, there's none of that. I'm just like, you blow. No one likes you. I'd like for you to leave. And also, like, it just sucks. Also, I say this based on her Instagram. I do think this is who Victoria is. I don't think it's an act.
Yeah, Anna, the fun of her not blinking when she talks is fun.
And like a lot of gums. You can see all of Anna's gums, and we know that she has good dental care. Like, good for her.
For sure.
Good dental health.
Yeah, Victoria, it's just really annoying because it's not real. It's like... It's like dealing with, you know, again, it's like she's just a conspiracy theorist. Like, you're like, that's not true. And she's like, how do you know? And it's like, I just know. I just know everything you're saying isn't real. I just know you're not the victim in this situation. I just know. Well, how do you know? I slept on the couch. I don't care. You put yourself on the couch. Marilyn, who barely could speak to you when you tried to like take her on, wasn't bullying you. Like, we know. And it's like, you're right about 2013. It feels like from a time. It's like, haven't we moved beyond
different
you
Bachelor
yet?
era? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And she just got nothing going on. There's not even a lot to parse. Like, she unequivocally sucks. She's also like kind of boring. I don't really want to know anything about her. I'm just like, Victoria, please leave. Victoria, say your goodbyes.
How would you handle Victoria? Like, I know how I would handle her because,
like, if I were Matt or if I were one of the women in the house.
One of the women on the house.
I think I would take it upon myself to do a lot of interviews, to like give a lot of tape about how much she blows and why. So I could like get my narrative out there. That would be my strat. I would not go to Matt about it though. You know who was great?
Yeah.
MJ. Love MJ's attitude. And I love how she just was like, didn't need to be brought up tonight. I loved it.
MJ is like our vibe specialist. Like she comes out with fun. Vibe. She's fun. She always like kind of nails it, but like in a way where she knows how to get it in the edit. Like it does feel like just the way you're saying, where it's like
she's getting her story out there.
Yeah,
her version of events.
She's our temperature check for what's going on in the house. And if I were on the house, I would be like, Victoria, the Queen stuff is so much fun, but what do you actually do for work?
You know,
like I would like stay on that because there's a reason she's doing the Queen thing. She doesn't like what her real job is.
I would be really condescending and I'd be like, Victoria, walk me through your day. And I would just want to know, like, what
get her
she
talking.
did.
The more she talks, the better. Yeah,
exactly. It's like on the flip side, though, like I think another reason she's not fun is like then you see Matt talking to someone like Lauren and they connect on their faith. And, you know, I didn't care for Matt's prayer last week because I thought it was sort of like just presumptuous. But like on the other hand, I do think it's cool to hear him talk about what his faith means to him and connect with someone on that level. And like I thought him and Lauren had a really nice moment. I was glad she got that rose. I just thought that was like also like sweet. Like it's kind of like interesting watching Matt like genuinely try to like make connections based on like things that he shares. It's sort of like so logical. You're shocked to be seeing on The Bachelor.
The faith thing, like it matters to him. Like exactly what you just said is so true because it's like, oh, this really does matter to you. This isn't you trying to find like a church group to promote on Instagram.
Yeah,
like it's like genuine.
It's real. It's a real part of his life. And like I don't want Matt to like say a prayer for me. I'm just like, thanks. You don't know what I believe in. But I do believe that he should, if he believes in something and this is his faith, like it's great that he is sharing it and like finding people who share that as well. And I don't know, I thought that was like a really like nice moment. And I guess I'm like more interested in like some of the sociology of Matt dating than I am in like bagging on Victoria. I'm just like, it's not that fun.
I'm with you completely. The faith thing, like when he did the prayer, I was just more surprised. To me, it's not bad for Matt. It was more, how is there not one woman there that's like, yeah, we're probably not the match? Like, how doesn't one, like, is it like, doesn't one person see that and go, yeah, I'm probably not the woman for him. There's like 80 of these women that are on the show. Like,
I know.
Not one was like lifting their head, being like, "Hey, great to meet." And I get it. They want to be on the show. There's another element at play, but it does like kind of out them because like you see it with Lauren, like he's down with it. Like this is great. Like it kind of came up with Sarah at the end on her date. Like it is something that will be a part of this season, whether people like it or not. But I don't know why.
True.
Yeah.
It's not, and like, it's for me, it's not like I don't dislike it. I'm not like, oh, I don't like Matt. I don't like his faith or whatever. I think it's like great because it's genuine what he believes in. I just think that like the prayer thing just rubbed me the wrong way, but like, whatever, we can move on from it. The thing about Matt is you can also just tell when he's really into someone. He is so into Abigail. I don't think that Abigail wins just based on my Instagram stalking and like just the way that things are being edited, but he is so into her. Like she must go final 3. I thought like obviously them having like the ear thing together was really cute, but he just like, he does this mouth thing. He just like, he like licks his teeth with his mouth closed or whatever it is. Like he plays with his tongue and he's like warming up for making out with them. And he's so into Abigail. It's like, I'm like, okay, dude, good for you. You want to bang this girl. I get it. Good.
Yeah. That probably goes back to why Victoria won't stay around long. Like it does seem like, you know,
oh my God, his kiss with her was painful.
It was brutal. Brutal. Yeah. And it felt like one person wanted to be there and one person was like, I guess we'll see what happens. I'm on
TV. I guess I have to.
I'm not gonna like, no for the kiss. With Abigail, he came away kind of with the same thing. He's like genuine. Like that's like, and she feels that way. Like it feels like that's kind of where she's coming from. And I've never noticed the tells, but now I'm going to look for it.
That's because you're a guy. Yeah, you should look for them. I'm sure you have your own. Don't worry.
Oh, absolutely.
Lastly, Sarah. We didn't really talk about her. I'm sorry that I called her Anna, I think like 2 or 3 times in the first 30 minutes of this pod. Hard to keep track sometimes.
There's 3,000 women on this season. I know. I think it's like actually, sometimes they show them all as one big group, and I'm like, is this like those sorority videos where they're in the door singing? You know, the one where they open the door and they're like,
having dinner
you can be a Kappa Gamma.
Yeah, I am aware. Before you actually get into Sarah, we just got to acknowledge Chelsea, who's the other vibe lord. It's like her and MJ. Chelsea obviously is like a leader of the group. She is like, though Kit is like the one whose mother is in fashion, Chelsea is the model who's the most fashionable. And she had like amazing jacket. She's the only one who really was doing outerwear right. And like Chelsea obviously is just like a fun time, and you could tell the other women like her. Also, I think it's a good sign when you get to read a date card pretty early on. And Chelsea got to read one of them last night or tonight. And then we just have to acknowledge Chelsea. She's already not getting enough screen time.
Chelsea doesn't get enough screen time because every time she is like, it is amazing when you see someone who's a runway model not on a runway.
I know. You're like, the presence that you command is so shocking. You understand how they end up on a runway. And it's like, it's a real skill. I mean, and she's just like, she has so much presence. I hope we get to see more of her soon.
It's like seeing like an Avenger, you know, like she's just such every time she's with the other women, I'm like, get these, I feel like they shouldn't be walking together.
Chelsea. For Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You definitely the person that's the thing with the producer picks. Like, I don't believe in that, but I do believe that the producers like people.
Yeah.
Like they definitely look to someone.
We need Chelsea on camera, so Chelsea read the date or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, lastly, Sarah. Sarah's father has ALS, which I think is one of the most tragic diseases one can have. Not that it's a competition, but I'm just like, there's nothing else to say, but I wish Sarah the best. I wish her family the best. That sounds incredibly challenging. Sarah, she gets sick at the end of
So I wasn't sure that was her. I couldn't really see.
It was Sarah, and she was being comforted by Brie, as far as I could tell.
When she said I see stars, do you think that's like a panic attack of some sort? Like, do you think
dehydrated perhaps? I don't know.
You're drinking, you're not, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of food out. We don't know though. We don't know what the crafty looks like, like. What
was Sarah's date? I can't remember as we're sitting
Sarah's
here discussing.
date was the airplane date where they circled around the sky.
Super boring.
And then I thought it was, they have a dinner and it was, they're having this touching moment. And then he's like, all right, let's jump in the hot tub. Like they just go straight in the hot tub at the end.
I'm I'm happy hot tubs are back. I miss them. I mean, obviously the La Quinta is too hot to have a hot tub, but like a hot tub, it's like death, taxes, and hot tubs on The Bachelor. It's like those are the things that we can count on. And I'm just so happy they're back. And I have to say, like, this is a very attractive cast. So just put them in the hot tub. Who says no to that?
I mean, the wooden one that Brie got, I was just like more like, I want to see what this looks like. It was like,
I have been Googling barrel hot tubs for the last 24 hours.
Okay, good. I'm happy I wasn't the only one because I was like, it was like seeing like it was like the first time you saw like someone with a fire pit that they had put in their backyard. You're like, oh, I want to see other people who have made fire pit decisions with their backyard. Like I saw that and I was like, where are they? Like it legitimately looked like the barrel a guy in the early part of the century would wear. Like around if he wasn't doing so hot.
I'm not into having to cut my own wood or retrieve my own logs to power the hot tub, but like I'm sure you can get one that's aesthetically very similar that is like electric or runs on gas or whatever. You can. I know that you can because I've been Googling it.
Listen, we're a year away from fitness classes that are going to be all wood chopping. If you want the Matt James physique, you're going to be out there chopping wood. You'll see all these men just out instead of CrossFit. They're just in, wood fit or something.
Even worse than I don't want to pray with Matt is that he would just be like, you're fucking lazy. He would be like, why don't you want to do more activities with me? He would be like, let's play tennis. Let's go on a bike ride. Let's go for a hike. Let's go swimming. It's like his life is like 3 triathlons per day. And I just like, it's crazy. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. I want the scene. Like, I just want to see what he eats in a day. Like, when you see someone.
He's got to be a lot.
It must be a lot, but it must be also like, does he like? I just want to know what's the fuel there. Like I watch you ever watch those on TikTok where it's like what I eat in a day? I watch them all the way to the end. I'm like, I just need to know. I need to know what this person's doing. Like I want to know the whole regimen. I need to know the match. You remember after the 300? Like everyone was like, what's the 300 diet? What's the 300 workout? I want the Matt James workout. I want to know.
He should do a Grub Street diary. Excuse me. New York Magazine does like celebrities write down everything they ate and also like their schedule for the day. That would be really good. Let's get Matt James to do that.
I would be interested. There's no question.
I want to shout out 2 more women that I like. And then I have a question for you. I just want to say I like Serena P., who's like one of our narrators this week.
Yes. And she had a great bio going into the season, where she said that they asked her, they're like, what would your family say about you? And she's like, they'd say I'm opinionated. And I was like, that's such a fun thing to be like, admission of like, yeah, I'm the one in the family that calls shit out. So yeah, I kind of like, I had said, in my preview, I was like, this is someone that the audience is going to love just because she'll call shit out.
I liked her a lot. Also, I like Mari. I feel like Matt also likes Mari. And I feel like we're going to get a big Mari one-on-one at some point. She's the one that he just like stared at her butt as she walked up the stairs in night 1. She's the beauty pageant person from Families from Puerto Rico. And I like her.
I can tell you as a red-blooded American straight male, Mari is very hot. I can
She's
say
literally a pageant person. So yes, I understand.
She oozes sexuality to a man. I think like it makes sense that Matt would take an extra beat on her walking away. Like she is hot and like hot and a hot.
Okay,
like,
we get it, Jared. You're really into Mari.
What if the next 10 minutes of the podcast was just me like stammering on and on?
I'm ready to move on.
Let me please hold on. Let me just say a little bit more. No. She's definitely
I'm ready to move on. Now is my question for you.
Sure.
Did you befriend Bennett?
So I befriended Bennett. I live streamed The Bachelor and
check out at Jared Freid on Instagram for that.
Thank you. And I Jump Street, it said that he was a Harvard guy, and I was like, Bennett went to Harvard in case you couldn't tell by looking at his face. I knew he went to Harvard. Like you could just look at him. He looks like American Psycho. Like it's like
yes. Well, they did that on purpose, but yes.
But he has a look. So every time he came on screen, I would do this voice and I would give him this character that I didn't even know was him or not. I would just be like, oh, the butler always lets me get whatever. Everything would be his butler, his maid, his driver. And then I would say that he would call his parents Papa and Mumsy. So he right away loved the joke. Like he thought it was so funny. So he was like really cool about it.
As a comedian, how much do you love people who love your jokes?
Oh my God, that's all you have to say. Best friends. So like game over for me. I am like smitten. I love that he like leaned into that character a bit, maybe a little too much towards the end, but like he definitely leaned into it in a likable way to me, in the same way like leaning into the vibrator is likable to me. So I made these shirts that they say Mumsy on them in the Harvard look. And I sent him a shirt, and he's in his Instagram wearing the shirt, Mumsy.
How'd you get his address? Did you like
well, he's been
white
DMing
pages or what? Oh.
I looked up Bennett the Third, and then he just popped up. No, but we had DM'd, and him and Ed have been very nice because especially when I live stream the men, I'm a little meaner to the men. It's more looks driven.
Yeah,
it's all easier to do, and so those two guys specifically like loved it and had fun with it in a way that like I would ball bust with buddies of mine. So.
Have you hung out with Bennett?
We have beers planned.
Wow.
For when we can, when we are in, when we get out of whatever.
Bennett's obviously an outdoor beer kind of guy. That's fine.
We could do beers. Yeah. And so.
Find a heated spot.
A heated spot. I do want to make it happen.
Where does Bennett live? I'm just going to guess Chelsea. I don't know anything, but I'm going to guess Chelsea. West Village?
I would assume one of those two. It is not Bushwick. So I
didn't think so. Don't worry.
Yeah. So no, but he's been very nice, and I appreciate when someone's like, because I am making fun of him, like it's like, and I've had people message me not liking it so much, and so and mostly never the women, the men, just like the women seem to enjoy it too, but it's some of the guys don't see the joke as a joke. So
got it.
So he's been cool and nice, and him and Ed especially. So we've had some DMs, and we're working on that first date. So
cool. I can't wait to hear how it goes.
Yeah. So I hope so too.
Report back, or maybe invite me. I like to hang out.
There we go. So maybe now we can meet in Lower East Side, right in the middle of everybody.
Great stuff. Jared, thank you so much for joining me. I have a really exciting guest for the B-side on Thursday. It is ESPN's Jay Billis, who I have just outed as a Bachelor viewer. We will be discussing this fine program, so come back for that Thursday morning and listen to the entire Ringer Podcast Network and follow Jared on Instagram for his Bachelor content. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you soon.